You know, the hobby of video games is in an incredibly weird state right now. I say right now, but it's been incredibly weird since around 2020, maybe even earlier than that. We're watching as this industry is doing everything it can to price you out and not give you any ownership or any sort of value, but trying to charge you more money than ever before. While every single company, corporation, manufacturer, and what have you is dealing with the insane AI crisis, prices increasing, value decreasing, and everybody else trying to find a smarter way of obtaining any piece of hardware they can, it really goes to show that older tech and older hardware is becoming more valuable now than it ever has been before. And that is a little bit insane when you think about it. And the thing is, we've seen the meme crop up all over the internet again ever since the RAM crisis began to take its foothold inside of gaming. Ah yes, if you want a PC equivalent to a PS5 Pro, you have to spend twice the price, $4,000 on a PC to get all the PS5 console graphics, or why buy a PC when you can just get a console? Yet at the same time, with all those prices increasing on the PC side, we're seeing prices increase on the console side as well, meaning that nobody is safe from the insanity that we're dealing with. Hell, even Nintendo wasn't safe either. With a tweet by GBA Temp saying this, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa explains the Switch 2 price increases in recent financial results briefing. With the quote saying this change in hardware pricing was not due to any one specific factor. Rather, the decision was made in light of various changes in the recent market conditions, which we believe will have a medium to long-term impact on the global outlook of our dedicated video game platform business. And when you look at a company like Nintendo, whose console just came out within less than a year, having to raise prices, even though that system sold millions of units already, and Nintendo on their own also sells bucket loads of software, raking in tons of money, basically just printing it, which is the meme we've seen along all those years, it really goes to show what is in fact happening to the gaming industry. How can we as users actually obtain any sort of hardware when every single aspect of gaming or even technology is basically pitted against us? And there's one company on this planet right now that is heading the call and trying to make sure that you never own anything again. And Nvidia is not done. Because according to Tech PowerUp, Nvidia reportedly prepares an RTX 5090 price hike amid rising GDDR7 costs. Ah yes, the one company that has been causing all the problems in the gaming space and even in the tech space, the one pushing the hardest for AI and basically selling all of their chips not only on the black market to China, but also at an exorbitant price on the US market as well, is clearly the one that is causing these issues. And now they want to charge even more money for their own GPUs. Remember, we've talked about what Nvidia's been doing on this channel for quite some time and watching them go around and remove GPUs from the market, even though they say that they haven't done that at all, turning around and raising the price of their GPUs, making sure that people are not able to in fact get VRAM for their boards by AIB partners, and everything else in between. It truly goes to show that Nvidia really is the catalyst among all of this. And it gets even worse, because when a $2,000 GPU gets a price hike, basically no one is safe. With the article from Tech PowerUp saying this, according to Chinese board channels, a reliable source for graphics card supply chain information, Nvidia has reportedly been preparing to increase the price of the RTX 5090 and 5090D V2 GPUs. This will result in a $300 price increase for Nvidia's AIC partners who purchase these GPUs from Nvidia. The change follows a significant price increase in GDDR7 memory, which Nvidia has been absorbing but now plans to pass on to its AIC partners. The high demand for memory has depleted the supply of GDDR7 across the supply chain, with everything available being consumed and lead times now extending for weeks. Now, I want you guys to think about this for a second. Nvidia, the company that literally makes the GPUs, that has the memory, that says they're the ones in the best position to capitalize because of the AI boom and the memory crisis, are the ones now increasing the price of their own flagship GPU by $300. Yeah, what an insane thing to see. A $2,000 MSRP GPU, which you can't find at MSRP now, by the way, is getting yet a price increase on top of that. The The greed of these companies is absolutely absurd, and clearly it's actually going to get worse, because even now tech outlets are reporting that the Chinese black market of where their GPUs were being sold consistently for AI data centers is now finally getting approval. They don't need to do that anymore. Nvidia can now finally sell their GPUs directly to the US and even to China, and that's going to cause a massive issue, and everything is going to be even more constrained on top of this. So things are going from bad to, in fact, even worse. From the frying pan into the fire, as they like to say. And that's really where this video comes into play and why I wanted to talk about this. You see, everybody has been discussing what the Steam Machine is in fact going to do and how it's going to impact the gaming industry, or where it's in fact going to fit in the gaming industry. And that, I think, is incredibly cool, because what you have is a company like Valve doing whatever they can to put something together for their actual users. And even though many people have been poo-pooing on Valve's Steam Machine, saying that it's not strong enough, it doesn't have the right hardware, that it's mostly just a laptop GPU with a laptop CPU bundled together, and it's not really going to push the envelope forward. It looks like what's going to be happening now is you're not going to be able to have any access to that hardware to push the envelope forward at all anymore. Period, because it's all being used in AI data centers, or it's going to be priced out of any piece of technology that you can in fact afford at all in the first place. But the thing is, Valve has been doing some insane things with Proton, Linux, and everything else in between, trying to optimize SteamOS and make things viable not only for their system, but also for older GPUs. And it looks like yesterday's news with AMD might be the linchpin that everybody is in fact looking for. With Digital Foundry on Twitter saying this: excellent news, FSR 4.1 upscaling is confirmed for RX 7000 GPUs, coming in July, with 6000 series support due next year. Now we're cooking with gas, ladies and gentlemen. It is actually the right thing to finally happen. Some of you may be asking yourself, Alex, why is FSR 4.1 on 7,000 GPUs and 6,000 series GPUs a big deal? Well, currently it's only available for the 9000 series, 9060, 9060 XT, 9070, 9070 XT. You can't get it anywhere else unless you are actually able to go ahead and get your hands on the int8 DLL file to make it available for other previous generation GPUs. Now, why does this matter and why is this impacting the Steam Machine? Well, it's going to be an incredibly insane ride when you think about it. FSR 4 has been absolutely better in image quality than FSR 3, which means that the more aggressive you decide to place the actual upscaling, the better the image is going to look. Unlike a massive pixelated garbled mess on your screen, you could definitely see a lot of games getting closer to native resolution, even though they're using an upscaler. It's not going to be as good as native, but it's going to be pretty close, which is a good thing overall. And the better part is, the Steam Machine uses a 7000 series APU, which is exactly what's going to be in line with what FSR and AMD are doing right now, which is also a good potential indicator of when the Steam Machine could in fact be hitting the actual store and when you could in fact buy it. And that is incredibly cool. But there's more to the article though, so let's go from there. AMD FSR 4 Redstone upscaling and frame generation suite debuted as an exclusive feature for the company's latest generation Radeon 9000 graphics cards, despite a leaked build that clearly worked with older models using the less capable int8 instruction set. Now AMD has announced that FSR 4.1 is coming to older Radeon 7000 and 6000 series cards too, with a phased rollout that suggests specific architectural optimizations are being made, ideally to shore performance, which could be a bit ropey on the earlier generation cards. It's a smart move as it lets users of older GPUs access to significantly better upscaling tech in newer models, while still giving a premium experience to those on the latest generation. FSR 4 was developed alongside Sony, so it offers much more the same advantages as the latest generation of PSSR 2. Oh yeah, now can you see the picture? Now you're putting things together? We're going to be seeing an entirely new way of playing video games. Exactly what upscalers, in my opinion, were actually made for. Older GPUs to still be able to play current modern games with a lower resolution being rendered, yet upscaled to a higher res overall. Not quite perfect, not quite native, but still being able to breathe new life into older tech. And clearly, this is exactly what's going to be being needed for the Steam Machine and practically practically every other GPU out right now, unless you're willing to spend an exorbitant amount of money of what Nvidia wants to pump out of your wallet. And if you want to get even more wild about this, think about what Valve has been doing recently with Proton, where just a few months ago, we all noticed that Valve was able to go ahead and create massive optimization gains on 8GB GPUs simply by just using their own OS and even Linux. And that is a huge factor overall, especially when DDR7 and VRAM are being incredibly difficult to find or even afford. Game companies are not going to have to get better at optimizing their games. Operating systems are going to have to get better at being able to maintain the amount of lower RAM being available to users. And it looks like the best crew right now to make that happen is going to be Valve, which really puts a lot of things into perspective now, doesn't it? With things like HDMI 2.1 being added onto the Steam machine, FSR 4 potentially being listed there as well, better optimizations on 8GB GPUs, which the Steam machine has only 8GB of VRAM, we really are going to be able to see what the Steam machine is going to do performance-wise moving forward. And FSR 4.1 is exactly what we need at that moment right now. On the actual trailer for the Steam machine, when they were saying it'll be hitting 4K resolution at 60 FPS, that could be a possibility. It's going to be upscaled resolution at 4K, but it could be a good sign moving forward of what's going to be happening on the PC space, but also on the console side as well. Because if it's going to be similar to what PSSR 2 has, then we could really see what AMD is truly offering. And really, it goes to show that AMD is also in the fight against Nvidia as well. In fact, here's what they had to say. With Jack Hune on Twitter saying this: "As a lifelong gamer, I spend a lot of time thinking about how to push gaming experiences forward across CPUs, GPUs, software, and games. My team and I have been working hard to evolve AMD FSR 4 and bring it to more cards. We will power over 1 billion gaming devices worldwide. This July, RDNA 3 players will experience FSR 4 upscaling 4.1, delivering sharper visuals and smoother gameplay than ever before. I'm grateful to our fans. Your enthusiasm and ideas inspire us to keep pushing gaming forward. FSR upscaling 4.1 on RDNA 3 will be ready out of the box for Radeon 7000 series players in over 300 supported games at launch. And for our RDNA 2 players, we will have something exciting coming in early 2027. FSR upscaling 4.1 will be coming to your cards as well, bringing sharper visuals and smoother gameplay to even more gamers. We cannot wait to show you what's next. Stay tuned." So what does this mean for you? Well, it turns out that if they can put this on APUs on the 7000 series, then we're going to be seeing the Steam machine basically launch with FSR 4.1. Or there may be an update in just a few days after its launch to go ahead and apply FSR 4.1 to that device. This is massive. Better image quality, better resolutions, being able to be more aggressive with your upscaling, and just better overall visuals is going to be great for this little device. A 6x6 inch cube, being able to put out great visuals and good frame rate is exactly what people in fact want, especially if it's at a good price. It looks like Valve may have found the actual unicorn sweet spot in order to go through and provide better hardware, better visuals, yet at a decent price, if it's priced correctly, by the way, to actually be able to afford not only selling you a good product, but also being able to give you true physical ownership of a device itself, seeing as how practically every single other company is trying to lure you and push you into a streaming service as well. And we've seen that happen quite often. Right, Nvidia? We know what you're planning. Don't try and skate around this now. But you see, I want to give you guys a little bit more information about what FSR 4.1 will do on older GPUs. At the moment right now, if you're using the int8 DLL file hack, you're going to get some better visuals, less shimmering, less ghosting, less issues overall. However, it's going to be an impact on your frame rate, not really so much on your visual quality. If you want to see some good examples, Daniel Owen and Ancient Gameplays on YouTube have been doing really great work and information on using the int8 DLL file and showing that there is a small hit to your FPS. So don't expect getting around 144 FPS playing the Steam machine. You're more than likely still going to be getting around 60 FPS when you're playing a lot of video games at either medium or high settings and using FSR 4.1. The big ticket item though with this is going to be the fact that you're going to have better visuals while playing at a much more aggressive set of upscaling, whether it's from balanced to performance or even ultra performance as well. And since the Steam Machine has a better CPU that is far more capable of other consoles and other devices, that's exactly where a lot of the brute force and even some of the choke points happen when people are in fact using upscalers. Yeah, the GPU gets hit too, but the CPU is the one doing all the work for it. But the thing is, all of this hinges on whether or not FSR 4.1 will be officially released for APUs, seeing as how that is exactly what the Steam Machine is. It doesn't have separate GPU and CPUs, it's all basically one single board. And really, this could also impact things like the Steam Deck and even the ROG Ally and Ally X. And also on top of that, even consoles. This is a good thing for basically everyone, giving people the opportunity to not only have older hardware, being able to play brand new games and still be able to have decent image quality is exactly what people are in fact looking for. And it looks like I'm not the only one that thinks the exact same way. With Biggest Dickus on Twitter saying this, I hope this includes APUs. This will make devices like the Xbox Ally X far more compelling. With videocards.com also replying to AMD saying this, only Radeon 7000 or 6000 or Radeon 700M and 600M iGPUs too. With GamerBits replying and saying this, awesome, this is the AMD that I want to see. And personally, I completely agree with a tweet like GamerBits as well. This is exactly the AMD that I want to see as well, and the entire thing of what we want to see with older hardware, not being forced to upgrade and following Nvidia's stupid, insane pricing path. AMD has been doing the exact same thing of what Nvidia does, but in a worse step practically every single time. And watching as Valve is taking advantage of what AMD is doing is exactly what we can see as well. If the Steam Machine has these features, if it launches with FSR 4.1, has better image quality, has better optimizations, can work better on 8 GB of VRAM, and not have to be priced exorbitantly high, we could be seeing a brand new style of game hardware being applied to the actual user base, no longer chasing Nvidia's insane price-hiked GPUs, wanting to go around and basically lie to you about the 5070, saying it's a 4090 with less VRAM and only relying on either upscaling and frame generation on top of that to match that kind of performance. It truly goes to show how insane Nvidia has become with their massive greed on the market. And also, it pushes everybody away from the gaming hobby itself, being unable to enjoy the hardware or even the software applicable to it. This, in my opinion, looks exactly like what's going to be needed for the Steam Machine to be successful, and all the pieces are lining up into play. And truly, it's going to be fantastic. The only piece missing is going to be the price. If it can sit somewhere around $700 to $750, at the high end being $800, you're going to be doing pretty good. If it's even lower than that, you're basically a shoo-in across the entire board. And Linux being a huge forefront of what everybody's getting into, you could be seeing Valve literally position itself in the correct space in the right time to make sure that they are in fact successful with this device. And that is exactly what I want to see. More competition in this space, not locking games behind a content wall, but providing users more opportunity, better optimizations, and just better hardware overall, and maximizing what they can do with the hardware that they've been given. And that is exactly why this is actually fantastic. Now, just to be on the more cynical side, like we saw before, we don't have any information on whether or not it's going to also impact any APUs or mobile chipsets. And that could also be a big factor for things like the ROG Ally X or even the Steam Deck as well. Getting FSR 4 would be a big win for those devices too, and extend the longevity and life of that hardware. And right now, it looks like that's the name of the game. No, I'm not talking about the Crystal Method. Then you could be seeing an entirely new wave of actual computing and performance being applied to older hardware, which means that companies like Nvidia can no longer rely on trying to coerce you into paying more money for new tech that literally should be applied across the entire board, and really puts a big hole in the actual space of the RAM crisis as well. This could be the actual linchpin of what's needed to make the Steam Machine successful, and I'm kind of being hopeful about what's happening, especially with all the other pieces being put into play of what Valve is trying to do. Imagine if AMD was more pro-consumer from the start. We would have had this a long time ago, and you would have never had to upgrade at all and never had to sweat about the actual memory crisis. What a world we live in, am I right? But as always, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think the Steam Machine will get FSR 4.1? Do you think it's going to be as optimized as I'm hopeful it's going to be? Or do you think this is all going to fall apart and AMD will not apply FSR 4.1 to mobile chipsets as well? I want to hear what you got to say. Speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Rastamouse7861 saying this: these companies do a lot of walking around. Rastamouse, greetings massive. Wagwan, my friend. I hope you're here for a good time. Yes, I know. You weren't expecting that out of me at all, but here I am. Haha. Look, that's exactly what these companies do until they are pushed to the actual breaking point. And when those things happen, one of two things can occur. We get better benefits, or they fall apart. And usually, both options are better for us as well. Let's see what happens though, because I think Valve is going to do a lot more than walking. They're going to be doing some strutting if you ask me. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access with emotes for those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down to the live stream Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. It's an insane show. I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Saturday nights, live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. Do you want even more of me, though? Check out Oh No, It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. I stream there almost daily as well. We get to hang out, play video games, and just chill and yap while you guys also get to make fun of me on top of that with my horrible DSP gameplay. Yeah, that's like the new running joke now. I'm basically the alt version of DSP, kind of like Alt Skin 9 Zangief, the one that everybody actually likes. Pretty much. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!